So welcome back. This is lecture 9 of marginal costing. This is applicable for both group 2 and group 1 cost accounting. Okay. And this is for CMA intermediate June 2022 attempt. So ये हमारा lecture 9 है marginal costing का. हम लोग problems कर रहे थे. Okay. So we were in illustration 7. Okay, this was your illustration 7, and they have asked us to calculate all these things. Okay, so now I'm just calculating the difference in profit, which is 5,000. Okay, and difference is sales is how much? 20,000. Okay, so PV ratio, can I calculate directly? Okay, it's 25%. Any doubts you can ask me. Okay. Okay, so PV ratio is 25%. So first point is 25%. Now second point answer BEP formula is fixed cost upon PV ratio. Okay. So what is okay? So after this point, we'll have to lay down a marginal cost statement. So let us do it here. Okay. The marginal cost statement. Take any one year. Okay. Let's take this one. 1,50,000. Now, if I do into 25%, what will I get? Contribution. Okay, and then already have profit of 20,000. Okay, so fixed cost will be 17,500. Okay, contribution minus profit. Sorry, this is P profit. Okay, will be fixed cost. Okay, any doubt here? Anyone? How I got this marginal cost statement? That's what I said, that in this statement, this kind of statement, you get PV ratio, and from PV ratio, you will get the entire marginal cost statement. So you'll get the fixed cost, everything, whatever you need. So using that, you can directly calculate many kinds of required data. One is BEP. Now say fixed cost upon PV ratio. I'm doing fixed cost is 17,500 upon PV ratio is 25. So 70,000 is the BEP. Okay. Wherever you are not understanding, stop me. जहां जहां आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, आप लोग रोक सकते हैं, या if you want me to repeat something, repeat कर सकता हूं. नेक्स्ट क्या है आपका? ये हो गया. ठीक है. सेल्स रिक्वायर्ड टू अर्न अ प्रॉफिट ऑफ 40,000. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे आई एम जस्ट एडिंग वन लाइन. ओके, लेट मी ऐड दिस वन लाइन हियर. दे आर आस्किंग सेल्स रिक्वायर्ड. Fixed cost is what we know. Sales required to earn a profit of 40,000, right? So profit is what? 40,000. 40,000. Fixed cost is 17,500. I know that already. If I add the two, what will I get? I'll get C. Okay. Any doubt you can ask me. Okay, wherever you are. These are kind of sure shot problems. You get problems like this. Okay, you can get full marks very easily. And these problems normally will come for smaller marks, like 4 marks and all. So it is easier to solve them. It's not a very big problem. Okay. Achha, what is he asked here? Sales required to earn a profit of 40,000. So now again, what I have to do, I showed you previously that sales into PV ratio is contribution. Okay, sales into PV ratio is contribution. So sales is equals to contribution upon PV ratio. That is desired contribution upon PV ratio. This gives you your sales. This is your second answer 3. Okay. Now profit when sales are 2,50,000. These are straightforward ones. If they are asking profit, you already have the topmost line. From sales, you will get contribution. From contribution, you will get profit directly. Okay. Fourth one is 2,50,000 is the sales. Put another line here. 2,50,000 is the sales. Okay. And PV ratio is 25%. I got PV ratio. Now I have fixed cost. Now I have to get profit. This is the profit. This is the answer for 4. Any doubt? Margin of safety at a profit of 50,000. Okay. Margin of safety as what formula will use? Can anyone tell me? There is one formula. Margin of safety is equals to profit upon PV ratio. Okay. So PV ratio is 25%. Profit here is 50,000 upon 25%. This is your margin of safety. Okay. Variable costs of 2 periods. In these 2 periods, we have directly found out of both these periods. Okay, these 2 periods. Of this, we have already put the first period here, right? So just you can do sales minus contribution will give you variable cost. Okay, so I'm just writing here on top will be your contribution. Okay, similarly, you can find variable cost for the second year also in the same way. Okay, so I'm not doing that. Okay, any doubts now? We have solved the entire problem. कुछ डाउट है किसी को कैसे हमने क्या निकाला या क्लियर? ओके
सर पॉइंट 3 रिपीट कर दीजिए.
ये वाला
यस.
सेल्स रिक्वायर्ड टू अर्न अ प्रॉफिट ऑफ 40,000. इसमें हमने क्या की है? ठीक है, इसको छोड़ देता हूँ, यहाँ से हम फ्रेश करते हैं. सो प्रॉफिट दिया गया हमको कितना? 40,000, राइट? 40,000 प्रॉफिट दिया गया. फिक्स कॉस्ट आपको पहले से ही मालूम है क्या है, वो तो चेंज नहीं होगा. तो फिक्स कॉस्ट डाल लीजिए. अब ये कंट्रीब्यूशन निकल जाएगा, राइट? C माइनस F इज इक्वल्स टू P. ठीक है, C इज इक्वल्स टू F प्लस P. जस्ट ये दोनों को ऐड करेंगे तब कंट्रीब्यूशन निकल जाएगा. ओके, तो कंट्रीब्यूशन अपना निकल गया. अब नेक्स्ट जो है हमारे पास पीवी रेशियो भी है 25%. यहाँ पे हमने ये फॉर्मूला हमको मालूम है कि सेल्स इनटू पीवी रेशियो इज इक्वल्स टू कंट्रीब्यूशन. यहाँ पे दिस इज आवर डिजायर्ड कंट्रीब्यूशन. ठीक है, तो अभी तो ये बोल सकता हूं मैं सेल्स इज इक्वल्स टू कंट्रीब्यूशन अपॉन पीवी रेशियो, राइट? ये कंट्रीब्यूशन हमारे पास है, पीवी रेशियो भी हमारे पास है. सेल्स निकालने के लिए व्हाट विल डू? कंट्रीब्यूशन अपॉन पीवी रेशियो. ये आ गया 23,000, 2,30,000. ओके, और कुछ एनी डाउट? लोग बाद में भी करके कुछ डाउट आया तो मुझे पूछ सकते हैं. ओके, एनी डाउट यू कैन आस्क मी. You all, rest everyone is understanding? Neeraj, Varshini,
yes sir,
Nandit?
clear sir.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, Varshini. Illustration 7 till 7 we have done. So abhi what we'll do is from 8 we have to do, right? 8 onwards. ठीक है. So just before that, I'll take you through some charts first. Okay. फिर हम इसको continue करेंगे after that. From 8 we have to see 8 में भी जो है again, if you see 8, it's also similar one, but they have split the year into 2 halves. Okay, so we will do this later. So I'll show you charts used in marginal costing. I told you that I'll tell you a little later, right? आज करने वाले थे. We were going to do it today. Okay. Okay. It's called a simple break-even chart first. Okay. In this y-axis, you always plot money. Okay, rupees. The cost and revenue, everything is money only in rupees. So this is basically rupees, and this is units. Okay, this is how you plot it. Now here you have two main lines. One is called total sales line. It starts from 0 because when you do not make any sales, it will be 0. Then first, then second, like that. So it will be like this. Then you will have a total cost line. It will start from the fixed cost element, because even before you incur the cost of 1 unit variable cost, you have already incurred the fixed cost, right? So fixed cost is incurred already. So it starts from the fixed cost point here. So this is your total cost line. So these are the two main lines which you have to understand everything like angle of incidence or any other thing. When you plot data, just understand that it has to be like this, with cost and revenue plotted in your, that is rupees is plotted in y-axis, units in x-axis. Always remember one of these two. Okay, I always remember that rupees are plotted in the y-axis. So other one I get always. Okay, just remember one of the two, second you will get. So now this is called your simple break-even chart. Okay, this is called your simple break-even chart. Here, see, when the total sales line and total cost line, they cut each other. Okay, this point represents the break-even point. Okay, because at this point, cost is also same and revenue is also same. So when they intersect, that point is your break-even point. And now after intersecting, they are making an angle here. If you see from here till here, they're making an angle, right? This one is an angle. This angle is called angle of incidence. This is called angle of incidence, and the bigger the angle is, the more is the profitability level. The bigger the angle is, profitability will be more. That is, your PV ratio will become more and more when the angle will become more and more. Okay, so this is called your simple break-even chart. Now same thing here. We'll just be seeing if what happens if, see, if your number of units increase, as total sale increase, the same line is going to increase, right? Same line will go ahead and ahead. Here also the same line is going to go ahead and ahead. Correct? So which is why your angle doesn't change. As we know, angle is not dependent on the length of the ray, right? It is the angle only. The ray goes on increasing, but the angle remains the same. So if your total sales and total cost, it goes on increasing with sale of more units, your angle of incidence doesn't change. Okay, remember that. So this is one point, that with more sales of units or reduction of sale, the angle of incidence doesn't change. But if you change your sales per unit selling price, if you change, then it will change. Okay, or you make any change in your variable cost per unit, then it will change. With sales of more units, it will not change. Okay, this is the first point here. Increase in number of units, no change in angle of incidence. Okay. The second we are talking about increase in sales due to increase in selling price, which I just showed you. Okay. So if you do this, what all things happen? 2, 3 things we can observe here. So this is the new line now. With new selling price, this will be your new line. If this is your new line, then just see your break-even point now. Okay, your break-even point is this now, if you see, correct? Because your total cost line is this, right? Now this becomes your break-even point. Okay, and earlier this was your break-even point, correct? So what has happened? Break-even point has got lowered, as you can see. So if your selling price is increased, okay, your break-even point will come down. Of course, it also depends on the volume. That is another thing. But considering everything remains the same, other things, if you are able to sell the same unit, definitely your break-even point will come down, right? If you are able to sell at a higher price. That is one thing you can observe here. Okay. Increase in sales due to increase in selling price. And what is the change in the angle of incidence? If you see, this was your earlier angle of incidence. Okay, this was your earlier angle of incidence. Okay, now your angle of incidence is this much. It's bigger. Correct? Because a simple logic is, see, earlier it was coming from this angle. Okay, now this angle has increased to this angle. The second part is remaining the same, the cost, this one. So your angle of incidence has to increase, right? Earlier it was still here. Now it is still here. Okay, got it? In this picture, it's not that clearly visible. Okay, so that's why your angle of incidence increases if there is increase in sales due to increase in selling price. Okay, any question?
What is the use of this chart? Chart का use क्या है sir basically?
ये देखिए चार्ट्स जो है ना, इसको नॉर्मली यूज करते हैं कभी कभी जस्ट ईज ऑफ डिस्प्ले के लिए. आपको अगर किसी को जल्दी बताना है तो उसके लिए यूज करते हैं. बट होता है कि अगर जब डेटा थोड़ा भी बढ़ जाता है ना, तो चार्ट पढ़ने में मुश्किल हो जाता है. When there are too many lines, then statements are better to read. ये चार्ट जैसे हम कई चीजों के लिए यूज करते हैं, थोड़ा विजुअल डिस्प्ले होता है. यू कैन पास ऑन अ मैसेज वेरी क्विकली कि ये हो रहा है करके. ठीक है, जस्ट एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंस से बड़ा हो गया देखिए तो उनको तो पता चल जाता है, बस उतना ही है. ओके, व्हिच इज व्हाई चार्ट्स आर यूज्ड इन जनरल. बट there is a very fine line between a chart showing something quickly and the chart becoming very hard to read. ठीक है, so when chart is becoming very hard to read, better to go with statements. Okay, now same चीज का देखिए, सारे जो charts है ना, we are just showing one by one. Now second, this year we are talking about decrease in variable cost. Okay, so see यहाँ पे ये आपका total cost line, this was your total cost line, correct? If your variable cost decreases, what will happen? ये नीचे आ जाएगा थोड़ा, correct? Basically ये थोड़ा नीचे आ जाएगा ना. ये अगर नीचे आ गया तो then it will intersect total sales line at a lower point, है ना? इसी पर से आप खुद ही निकाल सकते हैं कि जैसे क्या होगा अगर if someone asks and readily you don't remember कि अच्छा इससे क्या होगा. एक रफ में आप ऐसा एक चार्ट बना के you can just see, you will थोड़ा सा आपको पता चल जाएगा क्या हो रहा है. They will ask only questions like this: if there is decrease in variable cost, what will happen to angle of incidence? Will it increase, decrease? What will happen to break-even point? Okay, ये सब पूछेंगे. अगर आपको if readily you are not able to remember, ठीक है, easiest suggestion which I can give you is just draw it in rough. If you draw it easily, you will be able to make out what is happening. Okay. ये बताया डिक्रीज इन, सेम अलग अलग चीजों को ये बता रहा है, ठीक है। अभी नेक्स्ट बता रहा है चेंज इन फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट होने से क्या होगा, राइट। दिस वाज द अर्लियर फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट लाइन एंड दिस इज द न्यू फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट लाइन, ठीक है। और इसके ऊपर से जो वेरिएबल कॉस्ट इज द सेम, करेक्ट, वेरिएबल कॉस्ट पर यूनिट इज द सेम। सो यहां से ये जो जैसे लाइन जाएगा, यहां से भी देयर विल बी अ पैरेलल लाइन टू दिस, करेक्ट, बिकॉज बोथ आर सेम कॉस्ट्स, ओनली डिफरेंस इज दिस इज स्टार्टिंग लोअर, ठीक है। तो ये है चेंज इन फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट। अगेन यू कैन सी इंटरसेक्टिंग पॉइंट अभी लोअर हो जाता है इसमें, because intersecting point has become lower here, okay, so which is why your break even point has lowered, okay। ठीक है, this is about your fixed cost। so basically in one chart आप लोग सब कुछ प्लॉट कर सकते हो। this is the last one, थोड़ा different इसमें क्या है, I'll tell you, it's called non-linear break even chart, ठीक है। there is nothing difficult in it, nothing like what it is, what you are seeing here। See, होता क्या है ना इन प्रैक्टिकल सिनेरियोस, so जो whatever charts we have seen earlier, okay, like sales line was like this, okay, cost line was like this, ठीक है। but normally what happens कि in reality all your selling price is not same, okay। when you are selling it in different markets you go with different prices, ठीक है, depending on that market। so it is not always a straight line relationship, जैसे here they have shown selling price goes straight till here, after this it is not a straight line, it is just a bent line here, okay, and from here it is going up like this again, okay। so basically from here till here he had to reduce the selling price to stay in the game basically, ठीक है। वैसे if you see cost, total cost also is not a straight line here, ठीक है। so it is like for production of different lots he has to pay different price, for production of first 50,000 he has to pay this much price, if he has to produce to 20,000 more then probably he has to pay more or something like that, which is why it is not a straight line, ठीक है। प्रैक्टिकली आप लोग भी समझ सकते हो कि इट इज पॉसिबल, राइट, कि ऐसा नहीं है कि 20,000 के लिए मेरे को जितना दाम लगा 40,000 के लिए डबल लगेगा, ऐसा नहीं, राइट। so it's not like that, so this is cost line and here they are both intersecting, cost and sales, so this becomes your break even point। but यहाँ पे क्या होता है ना ऐसे सिनेरियोस में, this is your first break even point, इसको बोलते हैं फर्स्ट ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट। देन अगेन कॉस्ट इसके नीचे से जाएगा, कॉस्ट हैज रिड्यूस्ड हियर, फिर अगेन आफ्टर व्हाइल कॉस्ट विल ग्रो, सेल्स भी इट विल ग्रो लाइक दिस, ओके। सो देन देयर विल बी अनदर इंटरसेक्शन पॉइंट, ओके। सो दिस विल बी योर सेकंड ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट। सो हियर इस केस में आपको जो सेल्स कितना रखना चाहिए, क्वेश्चन इज हाउ मच यू शुड कीप सेल्स, whenever whatever is the maximum difference between your cost line and sales line, see somewhere here the maximum difference is there, no, this should be the number of units you should sell for maximum profit. So this is how you use a non-linear break-even chart. Why it is non-linear? Because there is no linear relationship, they are curves, okay। so this is called your non-linear break-even chart. इसमें what is specialty? There are two BEPs. One is the first BEP, then there is a second BEP. Okay. Why are there two BEPs? Because here the revenue is after BEP. In other cases, we assume that contribution is always positive. It will go further and further away from the cost, right? But यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है. After BEP, then again there is a case where your product is becoming costlier, and in the end it is dipping, and again you are coming at break even point, okay। ये हो गया आपका नॉन लिनियर ब्रेक इवन चार्ट। कंट्रीब्यूशन ब्रेक इवन चार्ट है लास्ट आपका, ठीक है। इसमें क्या है, जैसे मैंने बोला था, इज नॉट मच इन द चार्ट्स, ठीक है। उतना कुछ उतनी कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, जैसे कोई कॉम्प्लेक्स बात नहीं है, नथिंग टू कॉम्प्लेक्स, ठीक है। अगेन दिस इज कॉस्ट एंड रेवेन्यू, दिस इज नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स, नो डिफरेंस, ठीक है। यहाँ पे बस क्या होता है ना, ओके, आपका देखिए हियर यू कैन सी देयर इज नो फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट लाइन, ओके। सो यहाँ पे यू यूज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट लाइन, दैट इज द ओनली डिफरेंस। ये आपका वेरिएबल कॉस्ट है, दिस इज योर टोटल कॉस्ट। This is your variable cost line and this is your total cost line. Total cost starts from fixed cost. This is starting from zero, correct? This starts from zero variable cost. It will be parallel lines because from here, this curve, this line is also because of variable cost, right? Above this, here is the fixed cost. तो ये आपका ये हो गया, और यहाँ पे बस और एक चीज बस इतना है, सिंपल थिंग, ये आपका सेल्स लाइन इज हियर, ठीक है। At any given point, wherever sales is ending, this difference will be sales minus variable cost, which is nothing but contribution. That's all it shows. Okay, because there is a total cost line, total sales line. So your break-even point is there as it was there in the previous charts. वहाँ पे कोई change नहीं है. So क्या change हुआ है, यहाँ पे fixed cost line को उड़ा दिए, you have kept variable cost line. That's no change other than. You have taken off fixed cost line and you have retained variable cost line. That becomes a contribution break-even chart. Okay. So one more concept I'll explain, because along with this, that is cash break-even point. Okay. Now, cash break-even point are calculated using cash fixed costs. Cash fixed cost है ना, fixed cost जो भी हमको लगता है, उसमें से not everything is paid in cash, correct? So those fixed costs which you have paid in cash, using that you calculate break-even point to really find out, how much you are getting affected immediately using cash, ठीक है? So इसीलिए you find out cash break-even point. So cash break-even point कैसे find out करेंगे? What is break-even point? F upon contribution per unit. F upon contribution per unit is units. F upon PV ratio is your break-even points in amount. Okay. So in place of F, just use cash fixed cost. Cash fixed cost is only difference is you have to pay it in cash. So you are only finding out the break-even point till when your cash costs are covered. This is just a different way of seeing things. That's all. Okay. Different way of detailing. So in this, there are all non-cash costs. Like depreciation is a non-cash cost because you don't have to pay it outside. Depreciation and other non-cash costs are excluded. That's all. Cash break-even point is cash fixed cost upon contribution per unit. Okay, that's all. That is your cash fixed cost. So any questions? Fine, you're all fine. Okay. So we have finished till problem 7. Okay. And we'll do the other problems later on in the next class. Okay. Next class we will continue with the problems. Any questions you have, you can ask, or I'll close the session here. A question?
No, sir.
Okay then. Okay, thank you.
सर ये जो कैश ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट है, इसके भी न्यूमेरिकल्स होते हैं?
इसका क्या बोले आपने?
न्यूमेरिकल्स नहीं, इसके भी न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं कैश ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट का?
ज्यादा नहीं, एक आधे मिल जाएंगे आपको, तो हम लोग स्कैनर से जब करेंगे ना तब मैं आपको बताऊंगा। ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है इसमें, बस आपको इतना ही करना है। कैश ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट अगर आया ना, बट विल डू, जब स्कैनर से मैं कराऊंगा तब आपको देखेंगे। इसके ज्यादा नहीं रहते हैं, ठीक है, उतना बहुत ही रेयर ही मिलेंगे। जैसे एफ अपॉन पीवी रेशियो जो करते हैं ना, इसमें बस आपको क्या दे देंगे, they'll give you f is equals to जो भी दे देंगे 10,000, ठीक है। इसमें डेप्रिसिएशन दे देंगे, they'll give you depreciation is equals to 4,000. तो you only have to know here कि आपको कैश फिक्स कॉस्ट निकालने के लिए you have to do 10,000 minus 4,000 and you'll get 6,000. Once you get 6,000 to 6,000 upon PV ratio, बस उतना ही, इससे ज्यादा कोई डिटेलिंग नहीं है, ओके। बट एग्जाम में पूछे हुए प्रॉब्लम्स वगैरह ज्यादा नहीं है, लेकिन एक आधा है जितना मेरा ध्यान है, we will find at least 1 or 2 ऐसी स्मॉल प्रॉब्लम्स रहेंगे। सो जब स्कैनर से करेंगे ना, then you will be able to see it. बस इतना ही, डिटेलिंग इज नॉट मोर देन दिस। Anything else? Understood?
No,
Everyone? Neeraj?
Clear, sir. No issues.
Okay. Any doubt, you can also WhatsApp me, and all of you can also have, if you need, you can have one-on-ones with me wherever needed. If you want my help with plans on studies or things like that, okay, just ping me and you can schedule one-on-ones whenever you like. Okay, whenever needed. And Himanshu also, there is no such time limit that next one-on-one will only be after 15 days or nothing, anything like that. Whenever you feel the need, you can just let me know. Nandini, Varshini, any question?
No, sir.
Okay.
Clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. See you all. Bye.
Right. Thank you, sir.